was the night before Christmas, and Brian, Andrew, and Steve set out on an adventure to the North Pole with nothing more than a hand-drawn map to guide them.
And by hand-drawn map, we mean a map drawn on Brian's hand. As we all know, Brian always has to wash his hands before every adventure.
While the phones were charging and the fire still burning, something outside was still working.
After walking for miles, Brian's feet began to tire. "I'm cold," he said. "Can we start a fire?" Without a map and only a snowboard on his back, Andrew's belly grumbled. It was time for a snack.
With the map washed away, visions of adventure still swam through their head.
So on with their snow boots strapped tightly to their feet, they headed to the closest burger place. They filled their bellies full and took off to Elsa's castle. The friends were thankful Brian's memory was like no other, and the washed away map wouldn't stop them from the adventure ahead.
They came upon a tavern full of drunken chanting and cheering.
They decided to stop for an icy cold adult beverage and then continued on with their hike. They could see the castle in the far distance, with their teeth beginning to chatter and nips starting to freeze as the fog began to set in.
Their view of the castle started to disappear, and a snowstorm started to whirl around them. The spinning snow began to cause the three men to question which way they were supposed to head. So with hope, they headed to where they thought they would find the castle, not knowing that the castle was now behind them.
As they snowboarded down the mountain, the snow started to fall harder than ever before. Deciding to take shelter, they came across the valley of rocks, and a cave entrance appears in the thick white sky of snowfall. As they enter the cave, they hear something strange. Is it a song? A cheer?
No, it was just the wind howling through the cave. "Look at your foot," Brian said to Andrew. "It's black." It was too late to save it. They had to perform an emergency amputation using only the edges of their snowboards.
Andrew screamed in pain because now he had no leg. Brian amputated more than he was supposed to. The scream was so loud that a bear came out and took Andrew's leg to chew on.
Andrew's pain was too much, and he passed out. Meanwhile, Brian and the bear were having a stare down. Finally, Brian let out a huge roar, and the bear ran out of the cave back into the stormy weather.
The men decided to call it a day and set up camp inside the cave. Chestnuts roasting over the open fire, Steve-O yawns and asks, "Which way will we head in the morning?" Tired and confused, Brian replies, "We'll hike with the sun at our..."
Steve-O and Brian fell fast asleep into a deep slumber. Moments later, they found themselves in a hazy confusion. All three of them are standing in a toy factory. Andrew, standing on both legs, lets out a big yawn that echoes through the factory. A loud, deep voice mutters, "Who's there?"
The three men looked puzzled, not knowing where the voice had come from. Suddenly, a large man appeared from around the corner. It was Santa Claus himself. Wiping their eyes in disbelief that they were in Santa's toy factory, Andrew says, "We found this map that led us here."
Santa grabs the map, checks it a second time. "Looks like you three have come a long way for this one-of-a-kind Selfmatic t-shirt. Please make sure it goes to someone deserving," says the jolly old fella. The men thank him, say their goodbyes, and walk off into the snow. Their vision fades into a white blizzard.
Moments later, Brian and Steve are awoken by the fearful cries of Andrew, desperately fighting to fend off the bear from yet another attack on his limbs. The three of them are brave and rallied together, wielding their snowboards in the air like swords and roaring at the top of their lungs. The bear soon retreated in a whimper back out of the cave. Scurrying to find the first aid kit, Brian shuffles through his backpack only to find the Selfmatic tube they got from Santa.
"How did this get here?" he says. "It doesn't matter. Here, Steve-O. Wrap this around Andrew's leg."